Welcome to Elevate and Thrive, where your mindset evolves. You are not stuck because you are weak. You are not behind because you lack talent. You are where you are because of the decisions you've been repeating. Right now, in this exact moment, your life is balanced on a choice, not a dramatic one, not a movie-style breakthrough, a simple, quiet decision that most people avoid because it feels uncomfortable. But that one decision is powerful enough to redraw your entire future. Discipline is often misunderstood. People hear the word and immediately think of restriction, pain, punishment, or losing freedom. They imagine discipline as something harsh, something forced, something that takes away joy. But the truth is the complete opposite. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom, real freedom. The kind of freedom most people spend their entire lives chasing without realizing discipline is the only way to reach it. Freedom is not doing whatever you feel like in the moment. That is impulse. That is short-term comfort. That is the kind of freedom that feels good today but destroys tomorrow. True freedom is being in control of yourself. It is having the ability to choose what is right over what is easy. It is living a life where your future is not controlled by your weaknesses, distractions, or excuses. Without discipline, you are not free. You are a slave to your moods, a slave to your cravings, a slave to procrastination, a slave to comfort. If you only act when you feel motivated, you are not free. You are dependent. If you only work when it feels easy, you are not free. You are trapped in inconsistency. Discipline breaks that trap. Discipline gives you options. It gives you power. It gives you control. When you build discipline, you stop being controlled by the outside world. You stop letting distractions decide your day. You stop letting fear decide your future. You become the person who decides. Think about it. The person who has discipline can wake up early, work toward goals, take care of their health, and build something meaningful. That person has freedom, freedom to create, freedom to grow, freedom to choose their path. The person without discipline may feel free in the moment, sleeping in, avoiding effort, doing whatever feels comfortable, but that comfort becomes a cage. Over time, it limits their life. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Every dream requires structure. Every goal requires sacrifice. Every successful life requires the ability to do what needs to be done, even when it's inconvenient. That ability is discipline, and it creates freedom because it produces results. Financial freedom comes from disciplined habits with money. Physical freedom comes from disciplined habits with health. Mental freedom comes from disciplined habits with focus and boundaries. Emotional freedom comes from disciplined control over reactions and choices. Discipline is the foundation of every form of freedom. People avoid discipline because they think it will make life harder. But lack of discipline makes life harder. It creates chaos, it creates stress, it creates regret. Discipline creates order, it creates progress. It creates pride. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about commitment. It is about showing up when you don't feel like it. It is about building trust with yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove you can be relied on. That self-trust is freedom because you no longer doubt your ability to act. The most disciplined people are not the most miserable. They are often the most fulfilled because they are not constantly fighting themselves. They have created systems that support their goals. They are free from the endless cycle of starting and stopping. They are free from the guilt of wasted potential. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is choosing the life you want over the comfort you have. It is the daily decision to build rather than drift. Freedom is earned, and discipline is how you earn it. Your dream life is not built through potential. It is built through consistency. Potential is everywhere. Almost everyone has talent, ideas, ambition, and the ability to become something greater. Potential is common. What is rare is consistency. What is rare is the person who shows up every day, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. That is what creates extraordinary results. Most people live their lives believing their potential will eventually save them. They think that because they are capable, success will come. They think that because they have big dreams, life will reward them. But the world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. It rewards repetition. It rewards consistency. Potential is like a seed. It means something could grow. But without daily care, without discipline, without action, the seed stays buried. It never becomes anything, and buried potential becomes regret. The saddest thing is not failing. The saddest thing is never becoming what you were capable of because you never stayed consistent long enough. Consistency is the difference between people who talk and people who transform. Anyone can feel inspired for one day. Anyone can start strong for 1 week. Anyone can make promises when motivation is high. But consistency is what happens when motivation fades. Consistency is what happens when you're tired, when you're stressed, when progress is slow. That is where most people disappear. Your dream life is built in ordinary days, not extraordinary moments. It is built in the daily habits that seem small, waking up and doing the work, taking the next step, practicing again, learning again, improving slowly. These actions may not feel powerful in the moment, but over time, they compound into something unstoppable. People overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year of consistency. A year of showing up changes everything. A year of excuses changes nothing. The dream life you want is not created by one breakthrough. It is created by thousands of small decisions stacked together. Consistency builds identity. When you show up repeatedly, you stop being someone who tries and become someone who does. You become disciplined. You become reliable. You become strong. That identity becomes your foundation. It makes success inevitable because you are no longer depending on feelings, you are depending on habits. Potential without consistency is wasted energy. It is talent sitting unused. It is dreams sitting in your mind instead of becoming reality. The world is full of people who were almost great, almost successful, almost disciplined, almost consistent, almost is not enough. Consistency is uncomfortable because it requires patience. Results don't show up immediately. Progress can feel invisible. But consistency is powerful because it works even when you can't see it working. Like building muscle, like saving money, like mastering a skill, the results come after repetition. The people you admire didn't get there by being the most talented. They got there by refusing to stop. They kept going when it was boring. They kept going when it was hard. They kept going when no one cared. That is consistency. Your dream life is not waiting for you to discover more potential. It is waiting for you to become consistent, to stop starting over, to stop quitting, to stop relying on motivation, to build habits that carry you forward. You don't need a new life. You need a new standard, a standard of consistency, because consistency is what turns potential into reality. Discipline means choosing long-term greatness over short-term comfort. It is the ability to say no to what feels easy now so you can say yes to what truly matters later. Most people understand this idea intellectually, but very few live it. Because comfort is tempting, comfort is immediate, comfort feels safe. But comfort is also the reason so many people stay stuck in the same place year after year. Short-term comfort always offers a quick reward. Sleeping in instead of waking up early, scrolling instead of working, eating whatever you want instead of fueling your body, avoiding the hard conversation instead of facing it. These choices feel good for a moment. They give relief, they remove pressure, but they also delay progress, and delayed progress becomes a delayed life. Long-term greatness is different. Greatness requires sacrifice. It requires effort when no one is forcing you. It requires you to keep going when results are not immediate. It requires discomfort, patience, and persistence. The life you want is not built through what you do when it's easy. It is built through what you choose when it's hard. Discipline is the decision to prioritize your future over your feelings. Feelings change every day. Some days you feel motivated. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you feel overwhelmed. If your actions depend on feelings, your life will be inconsistent. Discipline creates stability. It makes your progress independent of your mood. Short-term comfort is loud. It demands attention now. Long-term greatness is quiet. It asks for faith. It asks you to work without applause. It asks you to trust that the effort will pay off later. That is why most people choose comfort. Comfort is guaranteed. Greatness is earned. Every time you choose comfort, you reinforce a pattern of avoidance. You teach your brain that discomfort is something to escape. Over time, your tolerance for effort decreases. Small challenges begin to feel overwhelming. Your goals begin to feel distant, not because they are impossible, but because comfort has weakened your discipline. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen your ability to grow. You prove to yourself that you can do hard things. You build resilience. You build confidence. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And as it becomes stronger, the life you want becomes closer. Long-term greatness is not about perfection. It is about direction. It is about choosing the right path repeatedly. Greatness is built in the small moments when no one is watching. The moment you get up instead of staying down. The moment you work instead of procrastinating. The moment you push through instead of quitting. People often think discipline takes away freedom, but discipline creates freedom. The freedom to live without regret. The freedom to be proud of yourself. The freedom to build a life that is not controlled by impulses. Comfort feels like freedom, but it becomes a prison. Discipline feels hard, but it becomes liberation. The cost of comfort is always paid later. The cost of discipline is paid now. That is the trade Comfort gives you ease today and regret tomorrow. Discipline gives you struggle today and greatness tomorrow. The question is which cost you are willing to pay. The greatest version of you is not built through big, dramatic changes. It is built through daily choices. Discipline is choosing the long road, the hard road, the meaningful road. Because on the other side of discipline is everything you want. Greatness is never accidental. It is chosen every day, every moment, every decision. Everything you want in life has a price. Every dream, every goal, every transformation demands something from you. Nothing meaningful is free. People love to imagine success as a reward that arrives someday, but success is not a gift. It is a transaction, and the currency is discipline. Discipline is the payment because it is what you must give consistently before you ever receive the results. The world doesn't hand you confidence, strength, purpose, or achievement. Those things are earned through repeated effort. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when no one is watching. That is why it is valuable. That is why it works. Most people want the reward without paying the price. They want the body without the training. They want the money without the sacrifice. They want the peace without the effort. They want the dream life without the discipline. But life does not negotiate. You either pay now through discipline or you pay later through regret. The payment is not always dramatic. It is made in small daily decisions. Choosing to wake up early instead of sleeping in. Choosing to work instead of procrastinating. Choosing to learn instead of staying comfortable. Choosing to push forward instead of giving up. These are the payments that build a future. Discipline is not about being extreme. It is about being consistent. The price is not one heroic moment. It is the quiet commitment to do the work over and over again. The world rewards consistency because consistency creates mastery. Mastery creates confidence. Confidence creates opportunity. Every goal has a cost. If you want growth, the cost is discomfort. If you want success, the cost is effort. If you want freedom, the cost is discipline. If you want respect, the cost is responsibility. If you want a different life, the cost is leaving comfort behind. There is always a cost. The only question is whether you will pay it willingly or pay for it through missed potential. Discipline is the payment because it requires you to delay gratification. It requires you to choose what is important over what is easy. Most people choose what feels good now and then wonder why their future stays the same. Discipline is choosing what will feel good later. That is maturity. That is strength. The payment also builds character. When you practice discipline, you build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can follow through. That trust becomes confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn through discipline. Every time you do what you said you would do, you become stronger. People often think discipline is restrictive, but discipline is what unlocks possibilities. Without discipline, life becomes chaotic. Goals stay unfinished. Promises to yourself stay broken. Stress increases because nothing is under control. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates freedom. The disciplined person is free because they are not controlled by impulses. The price of discipline is real. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel lonely. It can feel exhausting. But the price of staying the same is heavier. The price of regret is heavier. The price of wasted years is heavier. Discipline asks for effort now, so you don't suffer later. Everything you admire in others was paid for. Their success was paid for with early mornings, hard choices, sacrifices, and persistence. You may not see the payment, but it was made. No one escapes the cost. Discipline is the payment because it is the bridge between desire and reality. Desire is easy, discipline is rare, and rarity is what creates greatness. When you accept that everything you want has a price, you stop wishing and start working. You don't need more luck, you need to pay the price, and discipline is how you pay it. Your future is not created in one big moment. It is created in the small daily decisions you make when no one is watching. People often believe that life changes through sudden breakthroughs, dramatic opportunities, or one perfect day where everything finally clicks. But real transformation doesn't happen like that. It happens quietly. It happens through habits. It happens through the choices you repeat every single day. The truth is, your life is a collection of patterns. The way you start your morning, the way you handle discomfort, the way you respond to stress, the way you spend your free time, these patterns shape your direction, and direction over time becomes your destiny. Small decisions feel insignificant in the moment. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like a big deal. Procrastinating one task doesn't feel life-changing. Choosing comfort over effort for one day seems harmless. But the problem is never one decision. The problem is repetition. What you repeat becomes who you are. Every day, you are voting for the person you will become. Every choice is a vote. When you choose discipline, you vote for strength. When you choose focus, you vote for growth. When you choose comfort, you vote for stagnation. When you choose action, you vote for progress. The future version of you is built from these votes. Success is not a single event, it is a lifestyle, and lifestyles are formed through daily decisions. The people who achieve great things are not always the most talented. They are the most consistent. They show up even when it's boring. They keep going even when results are slow. They make the right choice even when it's inconvenient. Your future is shaped in moments that seem ordinary. The moment you decide to read instead of scroll, the moment you decide to work instead of delay, the moment you decide to save money instead of waste it, the moment you decide to speak kindly instead of react emotionally. These are not dramatic choices, but they build a dramatic life over time. Most people underestimate the power of small actions because they want instant change. They want proof immediately. They want motivation to feel easy. But growth doesn't work on emotion, it works on consistency. The compound effect of small decisions is unstoppable. Imagine two people. One makes small positive choices every day. The other makes small negative choices every day. After 1 week, there is no big difference. After 1 month, still small. After 1 year, their lives look completely different. Not because of one big moment, but because of daily direction. Your future is being built whether you realize it or not. Time is collecting your habits. If your habits are strong, time will reward you. If your habits are weak, time will expose you. The future does not care about intentions. It cares about patterns. Daily decisions also build identity. When you repeatedly act with discipline, you begin to see yourself as disciplined. When you repeatedly avoid effort, you begin to see yourself as someone who quits. Identity is not what you say, it is what you repeatedly do. This is why daily choices matter more than occasional motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline is built through repetition. The future belongs to the person who keeps showing up. You don't need a perfect plan, you need a consistent practice. You don't need one giant leap, you need small steps every day. Your future is not waiting for you in some distant moment. It is being created right now in the decisions you make today. The smallest decision today becomes the foundation of the life you live tomorrow. Comfort feels like peace, but it is often just avoidance disguised as safety. It whispers that you deserve rest, that you have time, that you can start later. It wraps you in familiarity and convinces you that staying where you are is better than risking change. But comfort has a hidden cost. It keeps you stuck in the same patterns while life quietly passes by. Discipline, on the other hand, feels difficult at first, but it is the force that sets you free. Comfort keeps you in the known. It encourages routine without growth. It tells you to choose what is easy instead of what is meaningful. It makes you believe that discomfort is danger, but discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is growth. Every improvement in life requires stepping into something unfamiliar. If you avoid discomfort, you avoid evolution. Many people confuse comfort with happiness. They think being comfortable means they are doing well. But comfort is not fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from progress, purpose, and becoming stronger. Comfort without progress becomes stagnation, and stagnation eventually becomes frustration. Comfort keeps you stuck because it removes urgency. When you are comfortable, you delay action. You tell yourself tomorrow will be better, that the right time will come, but the right time never arrives on its own. Comfort creates a cycle of postponement, and postponement becomes a lifestyle. Discipline breaks that cycle. Discipline is choosing action even when comfort begs you to stop. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when it's inconvenient. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. It is proof that you are in control of your life. Comfort makes your world smaller. Discipline expands it. Comfort says stay where it's safe. Discipline says go where you can grow. Comfort avoids challenge. Discipline embraces challenge. Comfort protects your current self. Discipline builds your future self. The reason comfort is so dangerous is because it doesn't feel like failure. It feels normal. It feels harmless. Scrolling instead of working, sleeping in instead of training, delaying goals because you're tired. These choices don't look like destruction, they look like relaxation. But repeated daily, they become the bars of a prison. Discipline sets you free because it gives you control over yourself. When you are disciplined, you are no longer controlled by impulses. You are no longer a slave to moods. You act with intention. You move with purpose. That is freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is being able to do what you should. The disciplined person has freedom because they have options. They have strength. They have confidence. They are not trapped by procrastination or regret. Comfort offers pleasure now and pain later. Discipline offers pain now and pleasure later. Comfort gives you ease today but steals your potential tomorrow. Discipline challenges you today but rewards you with a life you are proud of. The most powerful transformation happens when you stop chasing comfort and start chasing growth. Growth requires discipline. Discipline requires sacrifice. Sacrifice creates strength. Strength creates freedom. When you choose discipline, you choose your future. You choose progress over excuses. You choose purpose over pleasure. You choose the life you want over the life that is easy. Comfort will always call you back. It will always offer you the familiar. But every time you choose discipline, instead, you step closer to freedom. Elevate your thinking. Thrive in your life.